lovelies, welcome to my channel. My name is Jade and I help people take back their power and light. Now, today is a very good video that not many people talk about openly, at least. And that is the dark side of being an empath. Now, empaths are what's notoriously known within the empath community, how a lot of us suffer and we see this gift as more of a curse. Because the different thing with empaths is we feel everything times 100. So it can be very difficult for non-empathic people, non-empaths, to truly understand how we feel, what we're going through, as the role of an empath, especially when unguarded and not healed or aligned with their energies, not balanced or protected, it can be very dark at times. It can be very heavy, very dense, and it affects us on multiple layers. It affects us physically, mentally and spiritually. So it's like 10 times more is expected of us. It's kind of like if you look at life as a game, a matrix game, the cosmic game, cosmic simulation even. It's like empath is expert level because you are exposed to so much where the normal people, they're not. So for example, an empath can walk into a room where someone has just been crying, or even older, if someone had killed themselves, some sort of traumatic event had happened in like a house, in a particular room or whatever, that empath will feel depressed, sick, even angry, anxious. It will feel all the energies that basically were associated with that event. And this can hit them like a train. It can hit them in all different multiple ways, depending on what level, what sort of consciousness that empath is resonating on and how they're dealing with that gift. If it's someone who doesn't know what to do with their gift and they can't shield or protect themselves, or they're on a low vibration, low frequency, then it will hit them really heavy. It will make them, I used to get a lot of headaches, like migraines. So it can give you a headache, it can give you physical things, and this can last for days. You can even have nightmares of it. Like, it can be truly intense. Obviously crowds, we don't like crowds. Even to this day, I don't like crowds. If I'm in a very low vibration and then I go out into a massively crowded area where there's so many people with all their problems, all their issues, all their heavy, dense, negative energy, or many people have parasitic entities attached to them as well, and they see you walking, because empaths are like walking lights because we have so much extra energy, like spiritually, not so much physically. You're like a beacon of light walking around in the cosmic, in the astral realms. So these negative entities see you, and sometimes they can latch onto you or try to do something to you. And yeah, you can like full on get attacked emotionally, spiritually. And this is, you know, it can be intense. So a lot of the times empaths will feel very isolated. They'll feel very alone. They'll feel lonely. They'll feel like the whole world's problems is literally on their shoulders. It will be a horrendous burden. A lot of empaths will naturally be drawn to veganism if they come across it, as they'll feel the pain of the animals if they watch slaughterhouse footage. So it can be very triggering for them, and that can literally break their hearts. It can be a very dark place to be an empath at times, and even I to this day have my dark days. So it's something that never really goes away. It's just something that you massively help control because you learn healthy boundaries. You learn how to shield yourself, and you learn to not over obsessively look to the darkness, you don't get, you know, compassion overdrive, you know, compassion burnout. Because compassion burnout can be a very damaging thing for an empath. because you are just brokenhearted. And when you're brokenhearted, your immune system massively goes down, you can get sick. And over the years, if you stay in that stagnant, heavy energy, you can get ill. Your physical body starts to burn out as well. So to protect yourself, you really need to take this, seriously. Otherwise, you're not going to fulfill your mission, because you are here to lead by example. And that's why really it's the hardest job ever, because you see all the pain, you see all the suffering, you feel it, and you have to endure it whilst being a light. So it's a very difficult, tricky thing to balance without getting your emotions, out, allowing them to get out of control, basically. A lot of empaths will feel very suicidal because they'll just get lost in the darkness of what this world is. And understandably so, because a normal person is very shielded. They don't see it. They don't feel that intense energy that an empath will endure. Sometimes I can just look at a photo and burst into tears, because I can literally feel and see the pain that whatever that being is going through. And it hits me like a ton of bricks, let alone footage. Sometimes you will get triggered by movies, music, but especially visual things like, disturbing films. So this is why I heavily recommend all empaths especially need to raise your frequency, because if you don't raise your frequency, you can get stuck in a very stagnant state of deep, deep depression. And it's no joke. Like, I was stuck in that deep suicidal depression for many years. And back then, when I was a teenager in the early 2000s, there was no help. There was no YouTube. There was no one I could turn to. I didn't even know what an empath was. I had no esoteric spiritual teaching of that kind. I just knew that angels and demons and entities were around because I could see them, and I knew about magic and spells, but I didn't know what an empath was. I had no idea about that side of things. So it was tough. It was very tricky for me, especially being in school. I despised school because obviously it was such a crowded place, and teenagers have the rankest energy because they're just, very mature and confused and lost. And obviously there's a lot of bullies in my school. And I would feel it. Like, I would see sometimes other kids get bullied, and it would feel as if I was getting bullied, and my heart would break for them, and I'd almost cry just watching them get bullied, because I could feel how much sadness and pain they were going through. Yet at the same time, I knew I couldn't do anything to help them. I was extremely, socially awkward in school because I didn't know how to deal with everyone's energy. It was literally make me feel like I was underwater at times, and I'd literally just do everything I could to not draw attention to myself, because I was so drained all the time, because I could feel and observe everything and everyone. See, that's where it is a gift, because when you know how to use it and tame it, you are extremely intuitive, and that can massively help you have great discernment with people, so you can easily avoid toxic people. You can spot who's lying to you. There's a lot of pros to being an empath, and you see the truth. You are the truth bringer. You are the truth messengers. And this is what's greatly needed on this planet of such heavy toxic energy and narcissism and apathy. You are the opposite of that. You are the light bringer. You need to share your light, and in order to do so, you must be balanced and grounded and not get carried away in the illusion of things. Because at the end of the day, it is all an illusion. Like, we are here experiencing a dream, really. And that's what really helped me understand and sort of detach a bit. It doesn't obviously make it any easier when I do see horrific things. Of course, it still breaks my heart, but it makes me have more understanding. So the thing with dark empaths, I know a lot of them get stuck in that trap of despising humanity. Like, you hate humans. You will despise despise humans. You will secretly wish that the whole human race could be gone at a click of a button. Like, to most people, you'll sound like a psychopath if you shared your true feelings towards humans, but that's only because, of course, you're not a psychopath. You just see the pain and suffering that psychopathic humans cause on the human race and the earth and the animals. And for an empath, that is absolutely heartbreaking to witness and to feel. The only thing I can compare it to with a normal person who isn't an empath is, think how brokenhearted you would feel if someone was to beat up and kill your mum. Think how brokenhearted you would feel if someone was to beat up and slit your dog's throat. Like, that's what empaths feel consistently on a continuous basis, who see and feel and connect to, you know, the horrors of what goes on planet Earth. But you need to shield yourself, otherwise what happened to me and what I've been actually healing for the past probably 2 years or so is it can create dissociation. You can get so overly traumatized that your body then forces you to become numb. And again, this is for your own protection and for your own good. However, it can also feel like a curse, because then it's like, well, I feel nothing. I am now numb. I feel no joy. I feel no happiness. Like, you still have your empathy, but at the same time, joy's gone, excitement's gone, your sex drive's gone, like everything else that made you feel human or like your personality is gone. So this is why you need to really balance your energies. The dark side of being an empath is not to be overlooked, because these are the things that will forever hold you back massively on your path to spiritual growth and joy and inner happiness. So a lot of, the dark side of empathy, of being an empath, will involve feeling a lot of anger towards humanity, towards anyone who may have hurt you in the past, and you must, practice forgiveness as part of the raising your frequency steps. Otherwise, your energy is just shot to bits if you don't. So you have to really, what massively helped me is really learning what this universe is, really learning and accepting. You have to have acceptance, and that doesn't mean you're giving up, but you're not here to save the whole world. Like, we are a collective, and each and every one of us is a light, and you need to learn how to shine your light by raising your frequency. That's all you have to do. And to be a light, you have to it doesn't have to involve being, a spiritual teacher. You don't have to be on YouTube. You don't have to do anything like that. You can just be a loving person, and that naturally makes you a light on this planet. And light is contagious, so if you then go and help other people light up themselves, then that's more lights lit up. So you need to really balance your energy and protect it. You can't be wasting it and throwing it away all over the place. So that's where you have to be strict and very aware not to allow yourself to fall into any sort of traps where it's going to really affect you too much. Don't watch really sad films all the time. Don't listen to sad music. Don't be around people who, drain you, obviously. Don't be around narcissistic energy, vampires who will constantly be triggering you. You need to just really practice self-care. Otherwise, that darkness will engulf you. Otherwise, that darkness will swallow you up, and it will be really difficult to crawl out of that dark hole, that pit that you're stuck in. But another thing to understand is we have to suffer to learn. That's the big secret of this place, and the one that's really hard to accept by many people, is we have to witness these things. We have to witness the darkness to know the lights. As above, so below. So you really need, your soul's been here to be tested, not just to help, but to be tested, to evolve your consciousness. So you have to really be that warrior, that light warrior, and understand that, you know, you have to accept the pain you feel and transmute it back to light, back to love. Because that's your job, and just by doing that, you naturally help other people. You can't force it, you have to just be it. I will be doing a future video on the stimulation theory and what it actually means and how it's all connected to this subject. But you are a starseed soul. Many empaths are starseed souls, and we will come from source, but you are definitely a starseed, and that's why you're so different, and that's why you feel like an alien. Much more is expected of you because of where you've come from. So bear that in mind. You need to be tested to learn, and you need to just not allow yourself to get triggered so much. And raising your vibration will massively help you control that. It will massively help you shield yourself, and develop your gift and see it as a gift and no longer a curse.